Welcome to our Weight Loss Summer Feel Good webinar in support of Acorns Children's Hospice. This is the webinar version of our seminar that took place in May this year. History of obesity in the UK today. Did you know at the start of 2011 Birmingham was voted the fattest city in Europe? Poor health and obesity within the UK has been increasing year on year, immensely from the 1980s. Before 1980, obesity levels were approximately 5% of the UK population. Now in 2009, regressively, the results are different. A huge 30% of UK men and women have an obesity issue. This is a massive 25% difference from how we once were pre-1980. Now obviously, we're not in 2009, we're in 2011. So looking at the statistics here, you can clearly identify that there's been a massive increase since the 1980s. In 1980, the UK adult obesity levels were at 15%. In 1991, 23% of adults were obese. In 2001, 31 to 32% of adults were obese. This is a huge increase from the 1980s. Please do not laugh. Have you seen this today in the UK? Okay, joke's over, now the facts. Taken from the NHS. In 2007, 24% of adults aged 16 and over in England were classified as obese, an overall increase from 15% in 1993. 37% of adults had raised their waist circumference in 2007 compared to 23% in 1993. In 2007, 17% of boys aged 2 to 15 and 16% of girls were classed as obese, an increase from 11% and 12% respectively in 1995. In 2007, boys were slightly more likely than girls to be overweight or obese, 31% compared to 30%. In 2007, 1.23 million prescriptions were dispensed for the treatment of obesity compared to 130,000 items in 1999. Between 2006 and 2007, the number of items dispensed for the treatment of obesity increased by 16%, from 1.06 million in 2006. Ironically, overall physical activity has increased among both men and women since 1997, with 40% of men and 28% of women meeting the recommended levels in 2006. At least 30 minutes of at least moderate intensity activity at least 5 times a week, compared with 32% and 21% respectively in 1997. Today, obesity surgery in the UK today costs the NHS £32 million each and every year. It is estimated that the cost to the NHS in England of obesity in 2007 was £4.2 billion and would rise to £6.3 billion in 2015. Just simply ask yourselves, where does this money come from? Ironically, we've never had so much choice for better lifestyle, weight loss, more exercise, etc. However, there are multiple reasons that people do not adopt these lifestyle changes. Almost a quarter of working age people are now obese. This is a much higher proportion than in the 1990s. 7 million working age people in England are now obese. This compares with 4 million people in the early 1990s. There is no obvious relationship between obesity and income. The groups with the lowest levels of obesity are poor men and rich women. In England, the proportion of working age people who are obese is lowest in London. At least if you live in the Midlands, you've got the bronze medal for coming third. What is body fat? Excess fat is stored in lipocytes, which expands in size until the fat is used for fuel. In a fat cell, there is what's called a fat reservoir and a nucleus. If you look at it as a sum, too many bad sugars plus fat consumed equals too much energy needed by the body. Therefore, it is stored as energy. The majority of stored fat on a human body is present under the skin. This fat tissue is made up of fat cells. A human can have anywhere between 50 to 200 billion fat cells distributed around the body. We also store fat in other areas around the body, but this is dependent on the sex of the person. For most females, a high percentage of the fat tissue surrounds the areas of the breasts, waist, hips and buttocks. Most males have a high percentage of their fat distributed around the fat areas of the chest, abdomen and buttocks regions. There is also fat storage around the kidneys, liver and even inside muscles. How fat is used in the body. When the body uses stored fat for energy, it breaks down the contents of the fat cell via enzymes to release acids into the blood. As the fatty acids reach muscle cells that require extra energy, they are transported across the membrane and into the muscle cell. The fatty acid enters the mitochondria of the cell. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. They extract energy from fat and carbohydrates to produce the cell's usable form of energy. Okay, how do I lose fat weight? Most people today fixate on the scales to see what pounds have come off, living on their scales day in day out. Why not just focus on inch loss around the waist and fat loss percentage? Focus on fat loss and inch loss, not just weight loss. Did you know that two people can have the same height and weight but very different percentages of body fat? This is why I hate the BMI. Take a look at this photo of the BMI body composition. See that they're both 6 foot tall, 250 pounds and share a BMI of 33.9. Did you know that as we age we tend to gain fat around our organs that can't be detected by measuring skin folds or even with a scale? Did you also know that chances are that if you are losing weight you will also be losing muscle as well as fat? Focus on inch loss around the waist. Take measurements once per month in the morning before breakfast, ideally on the same date. Also focus on total fat loss percentage. Take measurements once per month in the morning before breakfast, again on the same date. How to measure my body fat percentage? Start to work with a set of skin fold calipers. You can always consult with a personal trainer later on to work out how to use this tool effectively. Main factors limiting fat loss: poor diet, lack of exercise, stress, mental health, work, family, financial related stresses. Hereditary: poor sleeping patterns, lots of regular nights out. Excessive alcohol, either daily or binge drinking. Compound effect, i.e. if you eat chocolate and crisps for breakfast, lunch and dinner every day and don't exercise and address your lifestyle, you will get fat. However, if you do eat healthily, exercise regularly and address your lifestyle every day, you will see great results. Excuses: the "I will start next week" mindset, not sticking to a plan. Top 20 things to help fat loss. Here are some great things to adopt every day to lose fat weight. Top 20 things to help fat loss. Here are some great things to adopt every day to lose fat weight. Make a plan and stick to it. Put a diet plan on your fridge and stick to it. Take responsibility for your own fat weight. Stop making excuses. Accept that it didn't take 5 minutes to put it on, so it won't take 5 minutes to lose it. Self-belief, self-motivation, listen to positive people, read positive books, don't bog yourself down with dead enders or the news. Take measurements once per month to measure results. If you're new to exercise, start off with small manageable goals. How do you eat an elephant? Simply, in stages. Get up every morning and do a fast walk for 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast. This will work on your fat stores. Eat breakfast every day. It will boost your metabolic rate by approximately 10%. Have a high protein breakfast, i.e. eggs on toast or fish. Snack on nuts and seeds or dried fruits rather than crisps or chocolate, etc. Take fish oils and other needed supplements daily. Avoid caffeine and drink more water. Exercise regularly. Go to bed at the same time every night and try and get 8 hours per night undisturbed. Avoid miserable and negative people, or learn how to cope with them. Try and relax more. Ensure to have weekends off or holidays away. Do it every day, do it every day, do it every day. Cheat once per week, i.e. eat what you'd like once per week, not what you like 6 days per week, and be good 1 day per week. Don't obsess with the scales, once per month, remember. Don't do it alone, work with a friend or someone who is an expert at weight loss. Why not work with a personal trainer? Most people would agree by losing fat weight, this will make them feel good for the summer. Please nod your heads at this point. Gents, would you like a six-pack like this? Or like this? Ladies, would you like a figure like this? Or a beach body like this? Find us, add us, follow us online. We're everywhere. GT Personal Training would like to thank you for watching this webinar. Please remember, you have one life, live it.